Alright, hello everyone, this is DayTraderRockStar for DayTradingRadio.com, and I am actually going to do a little video discussing some of the upcoming plays next week that I'll be looking at. Now next week we're going to start off with the beginning of December coming up on Tuesday, so it's going to be actually for Monday, November 30th, and that whole week going to the 4th. And actually there's some other interesting stocks that I want to bring to your attention for further out, and this is actually going to be a new feature on the site, and I'm very excited to just talk about it a little because I think it's going to be a blockbusting, state-of-the-art service that could really pick out some really good winners here. So let's just start looking at some of the stocks that I'm looking at, and again, some of my trading styles. Last 3 weeks have been doing really well in the market, and just having the patience to get the setups that we're waiting for. A lot of stocks are now, if you could start to get out of the focus of having to trade every single day or trying to find that perfect trade and look out there and see the trades that are going to happen, you're going to find yourself being able to set yourself up really good for some quality trades and some easy money. So I'm going to actually show you some of these setups. I have about 50 of them in front of me, but I'm only going to show you about 7 of them right now. And these are really quality stocks that are setting up in good channels. And once all you have to do is wait for these things to come down to the channel lines, pick them up, easy money, 1, 2, 3. So Intel is one of the classic stocks here, a very high performance chip maker here. You can see the beginning of a nice downward sloping channel with the 200 period moving average underneath us here. This is just a beautiful, beautiful channel here. I would be all over this if it came down to that $18 level. Now it's $1 under us. The stochastics haven't pulled back into an oversold level yet, so I'm not willing to step in here. I'm actually willing to wait this one. I'm holding a little Intel, but I'm actually willing to wait this one out. And if we get down to that 200 period or right around that $218 area, we could get a little flash down there. I'll be pretty much taking a much bigger position on Intel. So Intel, a great setup here, something to watch. Again, these will be alerted on the station every day when the interesting thing about even signing up for the newsletter or something like that. If we do see these set up, we send out the email a couple days before saying that we're going to be focused on these setups, so that's important. So Intel is one of the ones I'll be watching for that wedge, that downward channel to be forming. Some other ones also that are in the same situation. Now Dell recently came out with earnings, and it got hit, and they left this big gap here. And a lot of people are saying, well, I do love Dell pushing into this gap, but I also like Dell better as it pulls back to the lower trend line. So I have a feeling that we have a shot of just a little flush here underneath the 200. Stochastics are now set up for a rebound, so it's touch and go here. If you get it anywhere between 1440 and at 1380 level, a little under 1380, you're going to make money because we're going to bounce off of this 1375, 1380 area and head back up towards that gap fill, which is right under 15. So you're going to have a great trade there over $1. Stochastics, everything are set up here. It's just a matter of either scaling in here and waiting for the big little push down to the lower trend line. So if you get it around 1380, again, I'll be on top of this one during the day. So if we see that, we'll be taking that trade, and that's on Dell. Some other ones that I normally trade during the week, and one that's starting to look attractive to me is BlackRock, BLK. Now BlackRock is a high, pretty expensive stock here. Stochastics are pulling back into an oversold level, which I like, and the 214 area is recent support. So we get a little further push down. 214 is about 7 points down further. I mean, it's not that much for a $200 stock to pull back that far, and it would be a good shakeout, and it would be a good area for me to look to get in here. But so that one I'm going to be watching. It'll be put on my focus list for next week also. See if we get a little further pullback on BlackRock. Now, there's some really, really tremendous good setups here. Now, I don't follow Dean Foods that much, but Dean Foods is in the lower part of a channel, DF. And there's a nice channel here. We're pushing on the lower part. Stochastics bounced off. Here's a good example of a lower channel test right there. And also the stochastics, which were oversold right here. So we got that bounce, but we got the retest here of the lower trend line. Now, thing is, with a channel or a lower trend line like this, you could follow this trend line down until the stock is ready to move. So we could actually follow this down a lot here. But as we get, even if we get a little further pushed back down here, just that lower trend line, this is going to be a much better position to get in here than it is back at $16 or $17. So Dean Foods is a very good, set up here on that downward sloping channel. I probably will not be taking this one because I don't trade Dean Foods, but I'll be watching it to see how it reacts to this channel and to learn from every channel that appears in the market. BlackRock. Here's a good example of a channel that we traded very successfully on the site, and this was Verizon. And Verizon's a good example of a channel. Every time it comes down to the lower trend line, you could buy it, and we've been buying it up a lot in the $28, $29 level. And now it's at $32. So I mean, you could see, and anytime you get a downward sloping channel, the odds of a breakout to the upside are greater than the odds of the breakdown here. So you just buy it on the lower trend line, deviating from the 20-period moving average. Everything is good. I'm going to explain how to find your buy trigger on a channel. Like, how do you know it's going to break out? I'll do another video on that soon, because you want to be able to get on your best position down here and hold it through the breakout. You could get in here, and get a bounce up to here, but you have to know to sell it there, and then rebuy it down here, and then sell it and rebuy it down here, and then sell it, and then know where to buy it here. And that all has to do with the medium line, or the bisecting line, and also the 20-period moving average. So, and that also comes to a point where you have to just be a little more experienced in the market. And I kind of show you this, and I discuss this every day. So, so Verizon, a good example of these channels that are forming, and if you could just take these. So we've gone over a few channels right now, and I'm going to just give you a few more, which are probably, usually send these out to the, on my 10 for 1,000 watch list, but I'm also going to put them here as a freebie for those out there who really like to follow the site but don't have time to really take part in it, and they can get this video. This is a great channel here, China Telecom. Another classic channel. This is beautiful right here. We've tagged it. We tagged it once, twice. You can see this channel forms after it. You have 2 points to make that line, and you have a gap here, which actually I use as a channel indicator here. So the gap going down to this is 2 points, and then you can just follow it down. It bounced here. It bounced here. It bounced here. It's just perfect channel that's forming here. Now what we have here is the lower part of a channel coming to the end of the channel formation, and we're going to get a breakout to the upside. Now, the thing is, we are right at the bisecting line, so we could actually move up from this level here. We could actually start to see a positive action on Monday or Tuesday. This is probably going to be a buy, and a breakout is going to ensue shortly after. If we get a gap down or anything, again, I'm going to be taking a much bigger position down in this $42 area, $42.50 to $42, which gives us another point or two downwards. And that's going to be a great entry here. The only problem is the stochastics here are not really set up either way. They're more set up to turn back up to the upside. That's why I'm thinking more that we might not get that final flush to the lower trend line. But if we do, you need to be on top of this. So that's an important one to follow there. We did Dean Foods. Let's take a look at Yum Brands here. Yum Brands is an interesting channel here because it's just a sideways channel and a very classic, good, again, all these are quality companies. And you can see the channel here. Every time we go up to this 36.50, 36.60 area, we bounce back down to the 32.70 area, and we continue to bounce that. Now, so we do come back down here, the stochastics start to turn over, we come back down to that 32.60 area. It might be an interesting level. But again, this channel is getting kind of long in the tooth here. So we might want to watch this one hold this midline and start to break out to the upside here. So I'm going to watch the Yum Brands closely this week too. Two more, and then we're going to move on to another video. RHI. Robert Half, nice falling wedge pattern. I don't trade this whenever. I just want to bring out a falling wedge is also another good pattern I trade. Stochastics are what's interesting about this. We're getting oversold on the stochastics. We're pushing back down to the lower part of the trend on a falling wedge. So a further push back down here to the lower trend line here which would be about 2154, 2150. You might want to look at that one. RHI. Again, I probably will not be looking at that one because I don't trade it too often. I try to stick to stocks I know. And Shanda Interactive. Here's one I'll be starting a position in on Monday. And will be on my 10 for 1,000 watch list. And it's just a great example of an inverted head and shoulders pattern. You got a left shoulder, you got a right shoulder, and you got the head here. And it's been holding up in this market. It's holding the 20-period moving average. Just got to cross over on the stochastics. So I'm just looking for this consolidation breakout. I would just look for a break of the, let's take a look at the 50-55 area, 50-55 area for a breakout. So this one's also on my list. So I hope you enjoyed that little video of upcoming trades. I'll go over these every day in the market live from 9 o'clock to 4 o'clock. So come on by DayTradingRadio.com. And I hope you enjoy it. I'm going to do another video on a sector that's really shaping up here, is the housing sector. So I'm going to go and do another video on the housing sector. It's one of my next big rotations, and I'm really liking the housing coming up. Probably towards the end of this week or into next week. I'll keep you updated on that. All right. Thank you.